welcome to our vlog entitled What I Didn't Know About S4HANA. Today we're focusing on people, partners and talent, looking at areas like retention and how we help people within our organization move from the old on-prem world, from ECC to S4HANA. What that entails, how we have to use external partners, and how potentially we can turn IT from being a defensive, reactive business to becoming a more business-oriented, proactive organization. My name is Martyn Hope. I'm the VP of Business Acceleration for Evasys, and welcome. This vlog series came out of a webinar that I've been doing recently called Look Before You SAP. We were asked a significant number of questions around these particular areas, so decided that we would put a vlog series together. I'm joined today by a special guest, Tatiana Artahona. Tatiana, welcome.
Thank you, Martyn.
Tatiana's background is that she was a global ERP transformation manager for a well-known global telecoms company. So welcome. We're really pleased that you're with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
That's no problem. We said that we would cover elements of that have been coming from questions that we've been getting from the previous vlogs. The thing that keeps coming up again and again and again is people, partners and talent. And I know that's a subject very close to your heart. So I wondered if you might comment on that.
Yeah, no, very interesting, right? Because we have been talking about many technical things in the past, like the products, the infrastructure. And as you say, many people, some of the question was about what about the people, what about the people? And definitely, I think it's one of those soft topics and not an easy topic, right? Because I think we can put it into three if we think of the partner. So how do I choose the right partner? Yeah. How do I take the right person on board in whatever project you are doing, right? But what we have been talking about, what I didn't know about the S4HANA. And then it's your internal workforce. Yeah, and you are going to have your internal people being part of the project or the rest of the organization, right? Which are going to be the users and adopters of the new technology that you decide to. And yeah, I was thinking going back 2 years when we were doing it. And of course, I guess the first topic for us was the partners, because at that point there was not too much experience outside, right? And it's Absolutely. Like, okay, yeah. So how do you choose? And all my previous years being an IT manager and then being IT transformation, I always have like key questions for my interviews, right? When I was going to hire people. But here we didn't have, because we didn't know what to ask, right? Because we didn't know the technology. And it's like, how do you know who is going to be the right partner and resources to come with you?
Yeah, very good point. So yeah. You always knew you came from a position of strength previously because Exactly. You knew the subject and you're a subject matter expert. Exactly. But now you're moving into a new field. You're no longer that. So how do you work out who is really good at it or who's 3 pages ahead of you in the manual, so to speak?
Exactly. Or who is lying to me, right?
Because I didn't want to say that, Tatiana.
Yeah, and it's like you are a bit of like, there is a huge part of trust. Yes. And trust and procurement, right? Because then the contracts come to the picture as we talked in one of our previous sessions. And it's how do you really get which one is the right group of people to be with you in this journey. And again, just recapping on what we talked before, it's a new implementation. If you decide to go the route to migrate from ECC to S4, it's a re-implementation. Brownfield, greenfield, bluefield, in any way that you decided to go. And then is that, and we keep saying, right, you have to be clear on your purpose, why you are doing it, and then of course go on. But then that was the partner. The partner is one bit because of course it's an external, but then your internal people, yeah. And there is a learning curve. You have however how small or big your internal IT team is, hopefully they have the knowledge of how your original implementation was done. And of course you need them. Yeah, you need them to be on board here, but you need them and you need them to really know what is the new technology they're going to be working with, because they are going to take it after the partner are gone. They will take it. They will be the one working with that. So, and I guess in that some of the big questions mark was you cannot put your entire department to the project because you still need to be running BIU.
You've still got to keep the lights on, haven't you?
Exactly. Yeah. So then who are the right people to come into the journey? But then how do I keep them?
That's a great question. That's great, because you said just before that, you know, it's 2 years ago and that was the challenge then. But actually that combination of knowledge and experience is still very much in demand. I mean, you know, I'm sure the top people, from the things that I've seen from people like resultingit.com, are saying that, you know, people who've got into S4 and have got experience of projects have got a much higher value. They're asking for probably 15-20% more on their salaries. How does a company keep them? Yeah, even a company like the telco that you work for.
Yeah, you know? No, is that and is that combination of you can grow your people, build them or buy them, right? Because you can get external, but anyhow, how is not yours the one that are going to be bought by somebody else, and then you lose that know-how. And again, it shouldn't be that critical if you think about it, unless you're a technology company, right? Unless you are selling that, your IT team is not a revenue stream normally. Okay, it depends on the sector. And that shouldn't be critical. But in this case, the criticality comes because, again, going back of one of the challenges of being on-prem. If you are on-premise and you really need to run and maintain your systems, then you need an internal force. And you mentioned at the beginning, right, that shift to IT that we have been seeing in a software as a service world, which me being a technical person, I found that great. I think the role of IT in a software as a service organization is by far more exciting than when you are in an on-premise. And sometimes we hear the don't ask the turkey for the Christmas menu, right? And some people don't want to go to talk to IT about software as a service. But I say, no, you really need to make IT understand. And again, let's go back a few years. And again, before I was always part of the internal IT team for a company. Before I was a consultant, but then I became IT manager and then I did the strategy. You want your people to add value, because otherwise IT is...
Everybody talks about that, don't they? They always talk about adding value, and IT historically would consider that to be managing technical debt, keeping updates up to date, you know, keeping interfaces working, integration working. So,
but that's not value, right?
But that's not added value. That's the entry level, isn't it? That's the bar that you need to attain each and every day to make sure that the business systems support the business. Yeah,
absolutely. And is that and that's very enlightening when you talk about software as a service. Who is IT normally? IT is expensive. IT is slow. IT is not letting me get, you know, the new features I want and all of that, because IT is always waiting for the business to tell them I want X or Y, right? That's how normally it was. As you talk to IT with IT, and they say, I need to go and gather the business requirement. And in many cases now I say, and now, particularly now, okay, so after the last year we have gone through, does the business know the requirements? Maybe not, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Okay, so who has the business requirements clear? You don't have the luxury to go for a business requirement and then wait 6 months for those business requirements to be deployed. That's in the past. And then again, I think the main shift for IT is that exploit the technology. Yeah, and it's not anymore do incident management, problem management, infrastructure. Let's go and buy the boxes, do the configuration of your assets, because that's what used to happen, right? Give all of that to a software as a service, which it is ideally, right? And then your IT people is like, okay, which one are the features in that technology that can help my business, because I understand the business that I'm from.
So you're splitting IT into non-added value services that the vendor can do, because they do that within a subscription, and added value services that IT could do that, because they're probably no longer IT, are they? They're probably now business tech delivering added value and having time to think and time to execute things that they know their business better or as well as anyone else in the organization. They can add value to that organization.
But again, and they keep being IT because somebody has to imagine the vendor. Somebody has to know which one are your technology requirements.
Yeah.
That you really want to go and take your vendors. Somebody has to understand the security requirement. You don't have to build the security, but you have to understand what is that you are asking for your vendor. You have to understand, is this contract with this vendor right or no? Is this vendor really giving me quality, right? And again, it's not going and doing code anymore. It's like, how do I want you to do things? And on top of that, you as IT, you need to understand machine learning, AI, IoT. How can I, blockchain, how can I use those new technologies in my business? And how can I go to the business and say, I think we can exploit IoT in X or Y use case. And then it's like, oh, that's adding value.
Yeah.
And it's not waiting for the business. And what happened in that many times, the business going and trying to understand 20 technologies to them apply, when that should be really the role of IT. And that's what I have seen basically since I shift from my on-premise world to my software as a service. That's the conversation I'm having with IT. It's about the new role of IT, right? And it's not anymore. And again, going back to our original one in terms of talent and people, that's what you want your talent to be. You want your internal workforce to understand your business and know which one is the right technology for me, not to be doing upgrades. What is the benefit of an upgrade? What is the benefit of a patching, right?
Yeah. So what did you do? What did you do in the business then? How did you retain the likes of you in that organization when suddenly you've got, opportunities to earn significantly more money? Is it the excitement? Is it the growth? Is it enabling new technologies? Is it giving them? What exactly would it be?
I guess it depends on the company, right? I think if you are a dynamic company, when people really see other changes coming and you are not just in a box working with an ERP, maybe there are more opportunities for people to go and exploit their knowledge. And there is a bit of everything, right? There is people that they like doing their job, but they don't want to be eating out of their comfort zone. And I don't even want to learn the new technology. And I guess that's the whole thing of understanding your workforce and really who are the right ones. But there is a risk. There is a risk, there is a risk that people are going to leave, and hopefully you can cope with that, because again, that's not part of your revenue, right? IT is not bringing you any more money to your company. That shouldn't be a problem if your IT force want to move.
No,
but we know it
actually.
is.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about lightening the load really on IT, don't you? So make it so that it's more proactive. But what we are seeing certainly with S4 is business technology platform has arrived, and that just looks like basis on steroids, doesn't it? I mean, it's not taking that load away, certainly isn't, because it looks like it's all built in there. The underpin of, data, a semantic layer for data, for security, for integration where there isn't any standard integration. What are we seeing? What did you see in the S4 arena when you moved to it? That did it actually deliver that for IT, or did it make IT's workload even greater?
We have to change many tools and many things, right? So it was a 2 years implementation. Wow. And again, it was learning the new technology, and it's not only that technology, because then it's all your ecosystem around as well, right? And as we talked before, all the interfaces, all the reporting, everything has to be redone. But we had a mix. So many people left, many people stay, many people they got new certified, and again, it is a re-implementation, and it was just to move from one database to another one, and that's it. Yeah. So and then you have a new interface, you have a new way, a new presentation layer. The system looks different, and now is again how you start exploiting that technology. The main thing is that you have to then build those improvements within the platform, which is not what happened in software as a service, right? In the software as a service, those get delivered to you in small incremental changes, and you exploit that technology without having to go and build it. So the operating model of IT in an on-premise world is not going to change. You still need to do release management. You still need to be doing incidents, problems. You need to cover all your layers of your service. Some people outsource, some people keep them inside, but that's not going to change. Just for a change of a database and a technology, that's not going to change. If you are really looking for a business model, agility, flexibility, and I know everybody talk about this, but a software as a service world definitely can bring you that to the IT business, to the IT side of the business, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. And those are the conversations, right, we're having with customers now, and hopefully many of them are really seeing the difference. And I think COVID and this time really brought to the attention that we don't have the time to do a 2 years project.
No, we're seeing exactly the same thing. Give me a 12 week to 5 months payback. I can afford that. I can do that. And then I want to be agile. I want to do iteratively change and bring things in as soon as I can. But they've all got to pay for themselves. They've all got to have a very strong return on investment, TCO. They've got to be lower cost. They've got to be fewer people if they can, because we want to keep our organization, our support organization, lean and mean. And I wonder if that's the case of S4HANA on-prem, from a looking at business technology platform, looking at all these other things that you've spoken about. But Tatiana, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
That's so we've just covered in very short time scale people, partners, and talent. If you want to know anything else, if you want to know any more, then please give me a call. My name is Martyn Hope. You can get me at Martyn, martyn.hope@evosysglobal.com. And I thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Tatiana.
Thank you. Bye.